One, go.
Hello, and welcome to THIO, that's Trans Health Information Ottawa, and this is the first time that we do minutes by video for one of our meetings. So this is,
I'm Caden.
and I'm Joel, and we're both involved in THIO, which is an emerging organization. We're still figuring out how to do things, but for accessibility reasons, today we're gonna tell you what we talked about during our meeting. Do you want to start?
Sure. So first off, we started our meeting by talking about basic values of THIO and like bare essential values that we want to make sure that we're upholding throughout everything that we're doing.
So these were baseline values because as an organization, we didn't have kind of terms of reference or value statement or anything yet. So we wanted to at least know that we had stable ground to work from. So we came with some values, which are available by PDF if you follow the link that's with this video. After that, we talked about what's been done so far.
Yeah.
So basically just meetings Theo's been to, town halls we've been having, what we were created from, which was basically the government of Ontario was changing the requirements to access surgical care, and weren't consulting us. So that's how we came together, and then from that we've been going to meetings, we've had requests for information, requests for workshops and trainings. So we haven't done that on behalf of THIO so far,
Yeah.
but we talked a little bit about.
And we talked about who's been responsible for making decisions and doing the work that's happened so far as well.
Yeah, which has been self-appointed, engaged people so far, but we want to make it more democratic, so that's why we had today's meeting. So on that line, we talked about different decision-making options. So the meeting for today was actually a meeting to make a decision about how to make decisions, or at least to get talking about it. So we talked about consensus as an option. We talked about, you know about this more than I do.
So we talked about consensus and about representative, like elected models or majority democratic models, and different ways that we could make decisions more collectively moving forward.
And we propose a model. So I proposed a model where the collective, and when we say collective, we mean anyone who's trans, two-spirit, intersex, gender fabulous, who's involved, or gender diverse, who's involved in THIO, and who's in one way or another. So that's when we say collective. So one model was looking at collective to bring up ideas or to receive ideas, and then an executive to look at deciding on projects and things like that, but everything being filtered through caucuses. And the goal of the caucuses would be to make sure that we're not missing any ethical or empathy-based blind spots, so that we're actually taking into account and centering the voices of people that are even marginalized within trans communities. And then working groups would enact, whatever projects we want to work on, whatever policies we want to work on, and pretty much all of the work that we do would be done by the working groups based on ability, interest, and drive. So that's an idea there, but we're very much open to recommendations and modifying that for sure. And then after that, during our meeting, we talked about communication. So far we've done a lot of our communication via Facebook and emailing people who shared their email during meetings, and then we have a website as well. We've communicated some things, but we're looking at alternative ways to communicate information. So that's why we're actually doing meeting minutes by video, to make that more accessible. And we'll also be setting up a Basecamp, which is a project,
And like an online project management tool that anyone who's interested will be able to join and participate a little bit more in discussion and decision making on it.
Yeah, so that we can participate in decision making without things being based off Facebook, so that we can not engage in social media if you don't want to, and so on. So we'll be sharing the link for Basecamp for any trans, two-spirit, or gender diverse people that are in the area that want to participate. And then finally, the last thing we talked about, which was a big thing.
So we also talked about the fact that THIO in conjunction with Kind and Planned Parenthood Ottawa, has just received a grant from, like, a Trillium grant to do a bunch of work by and for the trans community around like health system navigation, peer counseling, as well as training and education. And so we talked a little bit about how we need to make some decisions coming up around how we're going to use that money and what that process is going to look like. So we talked a little bit about how to do that. And some of the things we came up with were that we're going to be putting out a call to anyone who would be interested in participating in that, and being involved in that work in any way that they're interested in.
Yeah, so we're hoping that by figuring out how to make decisions, we'll be able to participate in ways that are more fair, more towards social justice. And if you're interested in joining us in a meeting or participating via phone or email or whatever, send us an email, get in touch with us. We can figure something out so that everyone who's interested can participate and everybody's perspective can be valued. Thank you.
Thank you.